From the Opopco Studios in Oklahoma City, this is OU Football with Jake Trotter. I'm Jenny Carlson. Jake, the spring is nearly over. Sooners had their red-white scrimmage on Saturday. Thoughts coming out of that game? What stood out for you?
Well, I think a couple things stood out. I think the first thing is that Oklahoma seems to have found a playmaker at wide receiver in Kenny Stills. The kid caught 6 passes, 84 yards, and a touchdown, which were all game highs. And I thought, the offenses for both sides looked pretty good, even though the red team was shut out. I like the way that backup quarterback Drew Allen played, and then obviously Landry for the white team was very solid.
Well, you mentioned Kenny Stills, a true freshman who's coming in at semester, left high school early to start practice with the Sooners. Is he going to be the starter to start opposite of Ryan Broyles in September?
Well, I think he has a chance. I wouldn't say he's the favorite to start. I still think it's going to be some combination of DeJuan Miller, Jazz Reynolds, and Ryan Broyles. But I think after that, I think Kenny Stills could be the first option off the bench, along with Brandon Caleb and maybe even Cameron Kinney. I think the receivers have a chance to be a much improved group from last season with that core.
What about the offensive line? That was one of the big questions, obviously, last season. People want to know, are they better this year? What have you seen this spring, and what are your feelings about the offensive line?
I don't really have any feelings this far. I think it's hard to tell. I mean, the scrimmage was a split squad thing, so there was no way to really evaluate any kind of cohesion because the starters were split up on 2 different sides. So I think the offensive line is something that remains to be seen.
Defensively, saw some pretty impressive play out there. You wrote a little bit today in the Monday editions of the Oklahoman about Travis Lewis and his emergence as a leader for this team. Talk a little bit about him and what you saw defensively for the Sooners.
Well, I think he's going to be the heart and soul of this team. I think he's going to be the vocal leader that Gerald McCoy was last year, and that's a role that needs to be filled. I think Travis, based on what I've seen this spring, is up to the challenge. Looking at some other guys defensively, I think their corner, they're looking decent there with DeMontre Hurst and Jamel Fleming. That was a big question mark. I think the other big question mark got alleviated a little bit. Casey Walker and Stacey McGee played pretty well at defensive tackle this spring, but they really need Adrian Taylor to get back and healthy. I think that's going to be the key in terms of how their run defense is next year.
Well, we can definitely say for certain nobody's going to dress as well as Travis Lewis did on Saturday. Yeah. All right, thanks, Jake. Hey, stay with the best coverage team anywhere at newsok.com and every day in the Oklahoman.